GMX here, and this is Wrestle Talk Saturday. Let's see, where do I start? Well, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2 is tonight. Ember Moon will be taking on Billie Kay. I think I already mentioned that, but Billie Kay is starting to be getting the push, which I was a fan of, but unfortunately it seems like that push was only to make a credible opponent for Ember Moon. I don't exactly agree with Ember Moon's gimmick, given her appearance, but I know it sounds a little messed up, and I apologize for that, but she just doesn't strike me as the person that could do that kind of gimmick. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm kind of hoping Billie Kay wins, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Another cool thing that happened in WWE is Curt Hawkins is coming back. Some of you might know, and some of you might not, I am a huge supporter of Curt Hawkins' Brian Myers. Heck, I even have his autograph right here. And I have a custom fix-up. Well, a fix-up of his, I have an elite fix-up of him, which he actually asked me, when I saw him at that show, he actually asked me to tweet it to him. So I did, and he liked it. And it is this right here. I'm very excited that he's coming back and that he's going to be on SmackDown Live. I kind of like the SmackDown brand better. Excuse me, because it's got guys like Dolph Ziggler and, Dean Ambrose and whatnot. So, I'm glad Curt Hawkins is back. Excuse me. I always preferred him over Zack Ryder. Yeah, I did an action shot here of Ryback putting Cody Rhodes in the shell shock. Just because. Here, I'll change the action shot for you guys. I don't know what to change it to. But so, the Cruiserweight Classic this week. I didn't cover that yet. Let's see. The first match was... I gotta think about this for a minute. Akira Tozawa defeated Jack Gallagher. A lot of people were really rooting for Jack Gallagher. I liked Akira Tozawa better. Just because I'm a fan of more Japanese wrestlers. Although my favorite Japanese wrestler to win the Cruiserweight Classic, unfortunately, didn't beat his opponent. That was Tajiri. He lost to Grand Metalik last week. And I was pretty bummed about that. Because, like I said, I'm a big fan of Tajiri. Out of all the ECW originals, I seriously do have to say Tajiri is, in the top 5. Because he was just so different. When everyone else was busy being extreme, Tajiri was being Tajiri. ECW was more about weapons and everything. Tajiri wasn't too much about that. I mean, yeah, he dabbled in it, but it wasn't his entire repertoire. But yeah, Akira Tozawa defeated Jack Gallagher. Chris was kind of bumming about that. Yeah, Chris was kind of upset about that one. And he was more upset about the next one, which was, what's his name? Noam Dar defeated Ho Ho Lun. Chris really wanted Ho Ho Lun to win. Unfortunately, he did not. it was a nice match. Don't get me wrong, but Noam Dar was kind of a, I mean, he's the youngest guy in the competition, and, you know, props to him for making it past the halfway point. I mean, he's now in the final 8. And then the main event was Tony Nese lost to Brian Kendrick. I was really happy for that one. There. I got Seth Rollins giving Randy Orton a pedigree. Just for the hell of it. I really like Brian Kendrick in this Cruiserweight Classic. I like his finisher, the Bully Choke. I like one of his nicknames, the Post-Apocalyptic Scavenger. I think that's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, though, in the final 8, he will be taking on Kota Ibushi. And Kota Ibushi is pretty much one of the odds-on favorites to win it. So, I don't see Brian Kendrick going past Kota Ibushi, unfortunately. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want Kota Ibushi to win. I understand that, but to me, you know, I really wanted Brian Kendrick to go far. Not just because Daniel Bryan likes him, but I just wanted him to go far, you know. I wanted him to go a lot further into it, like the Final 4. I was really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, though, Kota Ibushi will advance. Which is good for Kota Ibushi, don't get me wrong. Kota Ibushi is a very talented wrestler, but I just wanted Brian Kendrick to have one last hurrah and to be really successful with it, because this is kind of his last shot. You know, that was another reason why I wanted Tajiri to go further into it, you know, because these guys aren't going to get another opportunity like this at their age. And you know Kota Ibushi is going to do well regardless, because he's pretty much already a done deal in WWE. He's already pretty much signed a contract. Who else? It was Rich Swann. I think Zack Sabre Jr., he's probably under contract. You know, a few guys like that are pretty much guaranteed deals, especially with the Cruiserweight division being on Raw. So, you know, some of those guys are going to be on the main roster representing Raw. Although why Kalisto wasn't sent to Raw is baffling in its own right. Another thing I meant to shed light on yesterday was Eva Marie's suspension, which, yes, I did mention it, but there's a problem. See, she was supposed to team up with Natalya and Alexa Bliss to face Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi at SummerSlam. Now, Eva Marie's suspension kind of halted that. So, there's only really one other women's wrestler that could take Eva Marie's place, and that would be Maryse. However, Maryse is more of a manager now, so I don't think her wrestling abilities are going to be up to par. Granted, it would probably be people would probably have more interest in the match because Maryse is, you know, she's a diva of the past. So, I think it would draw some attention, but I don't know how much ring rust she has, so it probably wouldn't go too well. I mean, her wrestling abilities are probably better than Eva Marie's are, but still, we don't know. I mean, her in-ring ability was definitely better than Eva Marie, but since she's been away from the ring for about 5 years, I don't know if she's been still training or if she's just kind of forgotten how, and she's just kind of just the Miz's manager at this point. Excuse me. I'm very, very tired. It's 4:02, I'm sorry, and then my alarm's set for 8:30 because I'm going to a Lucky Pro Wrestling event later today. It starts at 12. I'm really excited for this. I don't want to miss it. But, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, one other idea I had was to turn Naomi heel again, which would kind of make no sense because they're trying to push her as a face. And then since they turned her heel, maybe call up Bayley, depending on how she does at NXT TakeOver 2, Brooklyn 2 against Asuka. I think Asuka is probably going to win. And Bayley could, essentially show up for SummerSlam and help Becky and Carmella. Especially given Bayley's friendship with Becky and also her friendship with Carmella. Well, her on-screen friendship. I don't know if they're friends behind the scenes, but I know Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley are all friends in real life. Behind the camera. So, it's a possibility, but it's very unlikely they would turn Naomi heel, especially now that they're trying to bill her as a face. I doubt it'll be a tag match, because who would they take out on Becky Lynch's team? Would they take out Becky? Would they take out Naomi? Would they take out Carmella? I think they'd probably take out Naomi, which would make it a tag match between Natalya and Alexa Bliss versus Carmella and Becky. And that already happened on SmackDown. So it wouldn't make sense to repeat the same match. Trying to think of another action shot I can do for you guys. So, Impact Wrestling, Bobby Lashley pretty much vacated the X Division and King of the Mountain Championships. Eli Drake wants another chance at his King of the Mountain Championship. Billy Corgan suspended James Storm because James Storm threatened Billy Corgan. And also, he hit a security guard with a beer bottle. So, that, and he took a hammer to one of the turnbuckles. That was a pretty cool segment. I was really rooting for James Storm. Because I am a big fan of James Storm. Well, I shouldn't say a big fan, but I am a fan of James Storm. The Hardys, or should I say Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero, are now number one contenders for the tag titles against Decay. I haven't seen... Bram wasn't on this week, and that's kind of a bummer, because Bram is one of the reasons I like TNA. The EC3 and Drew Galloway feud is continuing. They're going to have a match next week with a special guest referee who would happen to be Aaron Rex, formerly known as Damian Sandow, or Mizdow. He is now Aaron Rex, and he's going to referee the match next week, and I was hoping he'd have a match, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, also, I do want to go on a limb here and say that I do really like Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. I could say that for hours on end. That's like the greatest catchphrase ever. Dummy, yeah. But yeah, Eli Drake beat Mahabali Shera I mean, there was some other matches too, you know, like Maria's still running the Knockouts division, unfortunately. Yet, I don't know how, I mean, I'm waiting for Dixie Carter to just be like, Maria, you're fucking everything up, cut it out. I mean, she won't say it like that, but I would laugh if she did. I'm trying to think of a cool action shot. You know, I got one here. Oh yeah, Macho Man down. That was more of a action clip of him doing the Macho Man elbow. Or should I say Macho Mandow elbow. I never quite understood why Sandow was released from